Vigilante Wednesday here on the 15th episode of VW Casual. I hope everyone is having a groovy Sunday evening into afternoon into evening, I should say. It's pretty much evening, actually. It's 8 when I'm talking about it. I guess because it's light outside. It's freaking me out. I hope everyone's good. While people funnel into the chat, push the button. I do not have the button, unfortunately, or it would have been pushed. Wrong masked YouTuber, but hell no, Iro. Hell. It's after midnight, 2 a.m. where you are. Oh man, and hail Kaylee D. Appreciate both of you guys being here. Appreciate the Stream Elements bot too. Appreciate everybody here. While I'm going to talk about a few subjects. I have crying. I put last minute put crying Kevin Smith in the thumbnail. We'll talk a little bit more about the He-Man fiasco, but I'm not. This will probably be the last thing I say on it because I don't want to be inauthentic. I'm so invested. I mean, it does suck because the He-Man show right now, a well done one would hit. Oh jeez, come on TV. Sorry, I might have to turn my TV down. If I can find my freaking remote. You can probably hear Donkey Kong Country vaguely echoing in the background through my mic. Because I'm going to play that while we wait. While we wait for a few people to funnel in. And I appreciate you. And then we're going to play some Streets of Rage to end off. Streets of Rage 4. I cannot find my damn remote. Either way. Full screen. But I had some thoughts. I don't know if I should risk playing the actual video. Nerdrotic did, but he did an interview. There were some points that I really wanted to expound upon. That's really my interest in the whole thing. As much as I was a solid He-Man fan as a kid. We all were, right? As far as the action figures, the series, not so much. Not that I didn't watch it or hadn't heard of it or anything like that. But I don't want to be inauthentic and I'm this diehard He-Man fan. I don't want to do what Kevin Smith did in reverse. I'm this diehard He-Man fan and he destroyed my thing though. But he did lie. He lied. And Tiki of Doom gave me a kapla and a hell. Kapla and hell to you, Tiki of Doom. Forgot I can't click. So I am going to be using the Shmemulator, at least for the first game, but the last game, after all the topics, I'll be using the authentic article, and I actually can share because this Shmemulator works a little bit better than the Genesis one. So here we go. Just gonna play about 10-15 minutes of Donkey Kong Country. Come on. Until we get more people. What the hell? All right. Let me see. I gotta go get Diddy first, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played this game. A few weeks. You can check on the channel, actually. Last time I played it was on the channel. I think I'm stuck on the snow level. And I've been trying not to save state the game. Let me just save. You know what I'm about to say. Save using the actual save in game. But I'd much rather do that because I hate save state in a game that has a built-in save, right? Because that's not how it was played. That's not how it was played originally back in the day. So you want to be authentic to it. So I just saved me having Diddy to avoid having to do that next time. Not to be so unconfident, just not have that, confidence in my ability, but I do not expect, as you can see me miss the extra life, do not expect to actually beat this level, unfortunately. I would love to, though. But even then, I would have to, for my own authentic way of playing, I would still need. I think I got through it once, luckily, but no luck on the second one. But I would still have to at least get to a save point in game. It just is too inauthentic. And authenticity is going to be one of the main subjects we talk about. I mean, I talked a little bit about it yesterday, but I don't know if Kevin Smith had been one of us in a while. I think he'd been part. And I also got to think, I mean, we're all not the same anyway. At least I hope not. Jesus. So it's not like I'm sure there are properties that he was a genuine fan of, right? But like he still was a guy who wanted to be in Hollywood and had a near-death experience. And, it's probably finally getting more Hollywood validation than he did when he was in his heyday. And that probably is a different space to be in. And I also heard, I think may have even been a part of reporting or official thing in Netflix that he didn't even have anything to do with the story. I'm kind of blowing my load as I play and wait for everyone doing it. Lord Thoth, Noble Arrow says KS has not been himself for a while. Yeah, and I got, Thoth, I actually referenced you a little bit yesterday because of what you said. And there was some interesting comments in the fallout. I think, I don't know. I think while there is oh Jesus, I got G. There's at least that. Yeah. What you said on the MFer when you were talking about Kevin Smith, you were a lot more sympathetic to Kevin Smith than the rest of us were, right? And while I get that and still kind of understand that, and personally have the standard of, well, yeah, of course, because I don't have the standard of him being like, what else? Like, yeah, no duh, he's going to be thinking that. He's going to be thinking money oriented. But he definitely lied. That's the real thing. And he definitely went after Clownfish when he shouldn't have. And I guess he was real semantical because they said the rumor was they step aside instead of him actually getting killed. Jesus, I keep dying in this part. And he got semantic with that. But it's like, well, it was a rumor that they didn't tag him in at the time. But we'll get into it. I'm blowing my entire load while nobody's here except you guys, which I appreciate you guys being here. I don't owe any fucking body to watch me play games and talk shit. But you guys are always supportive, incredibly supportive. The insane amount of super chats that Ogre Squasher has. Not only, Jesus, I suck at this. But not only has he given me insane super chats, he'll usually inspire a ring of super chats. And you guys keep the lights on in the Vigilante Cave. And I really do mean that and appreciate it. Once I run out of lies, I will just get into the topics. I have a couple other topics to talk about. Then when we end, we'll have some positive news. And then we'll play some Streets of Rage 4. So we'll be streaming for a good little bit. I guess since, I don't know what's going on, Jesus. Unless a surprise Inquisition is showing up. I know Gary did a new one earlier. And Doomcock has just been doing the pop culture breakdown show with a lot of other guests, which has been pretty cool. So I'm not sure what's going to happen on Sunday nights, but I've been streaming since I guess the spot is open, so to speak. I try to concentrate a little bit more. Look how the intensity of this shit. It's like, jeez. What he did is a surprise. I didn't hold him to the standards. I wasn't as shocked, but a lot of people did, man, and I get that too. A lot of people thought he was different. And there was a way to handle it. And like sometimes it's not always what you do. Even though I think people, oh Jesus, is that it? I'll get one more. Get one more shot. Have seen Cameron Pasha is coming. Cameron Pasha is coming tonight. So he's going to be on a Doomcock show. So Doomcock is still doing that. So I know they said that until the move, that the Inquisition is pretty much on the kibosh until Gary moves out of Cali. So I guess that maybe Doomcock's just gonna do that to fill in, which is cool. I love Cameron Pasha, and he had an interesting take. And I had a video on it, but Paulie has a video on it because it's on Paulie's channel about the Batgirl thing. And that's another thing about when he calls. I'm I don't want to be fake outraged, man. And I don't even mean fake like being outraged is fake, but or even predictable outrage. I don't want to keep getting mad at the same things, right? I'm willing to give them the time stone more than other people. Okay, you have these franchises. We can make new ones. We can have Vinny Art. We can have this, that, and the third. We can have the YouTubers themselves. You know what I mean? You can have, Jesus, some franchises. All right, that's game over, but not game over for the stream. We're gonna keep it going. So Lord Thought said, everyone is so shocked and angry with him. Me, I figured this would happen and knew he'd do what he did. Yeah, that's how I feel too. But I do also respect there's something about seeing it as well. There's something about seeing it. And there are people who really care about the franchise who actually saw it. You know, actually saw it. So it didn't look like we got about 10 minutes in. Still just the four of us, but hey, that's 4 more than I expected. So, or 3 of us, because it's the one Twitch. Whatever the case may be, I appreciate anyone being here. But yeah, so actually to kind of go back with the Cameron Pasha thing, kind of show where there is a link. So Cameron Pasha, as far as Batgirl says, is the Batgirl casting, said that according to him, according to he has a friend, I guess, who's working on the production, they said that race was not an issue in casting, that they opened it up either way. And there's an interesting discussion on Latino Slant, aka Paulie's channel. I know right now he's doing karaoke. And there's a very interesting discussion on his channel about the Cameron kind of figured. Well, he just said it wasn't about race. He didn't necessarily say it's a rush to judgment, but just I'm saying there's a potential rush to judgment. Even though I also think that whenever you're getting into the idea of not authentically portraying a character, that there is some chicanery afoot, so to speak. But they brought up the example of Eartha Kitt in the 60s Batman, and they brought up the fact that there were so many, for lack of a better term, white people still in the casting late, that they was just open to the best person for the vision. And I'm personally, just for like logic's sake, hoping that this is supposed to go in the Jeffrey Wright direction, like whatever it is going to be in that Jeffrey Wright Batman series, because Jeffrey Wright is not Commissioner Gordon. He's a black man. He's done a lot of cool stuff. He's a really good actor. And I mean, even if he had a white girl, because his complexion similar to mine, you could believe if she had a white mother, that maybe, we got quarter black Garrett, maybe. And if depending on the mother, he's people, people with my complexion tend to get in a racially ambiguous view, even if we're black. I remember going to South Beach one year and having people randomly speak Spanish to me because they thought, oh, he's just Spanish. Like, nah, I mean, I think I asked some Dominican in me, like one of my grandparents' parents or something like that. But that's neither here nor there. My point is, he could have any one of those girls who were in the late casting as of Monday or Tuesday. There was like 4 girls who could have been Batgirl. Any one of them could pass for his daughter. That's my point. So Cameron Pasha, again, his reporting, and I believe what Cameron Pasha said. If he tells me the sky's purple, I'm like, I guess the sky's purple. He's an honest guy. He has so little reason to lie. Oh, is it? This is the only thing in the Olympics I want to see, and I don't know how I'm going to compete with that. Women's beach volleyball is the only fucking Olympic thing to see. I actually probably should talk about the men losing the men basketball team. That's the only thing in the Olympics I really want to see. I'm not gonna lie. I may toss that on a different screen. I'm serious, man. It's the only. I've never been so unhyped for an Olympics, man. This is pretty sad. But yes, you distracted me. So you said women beach volleyball, I was just like, oh, Karen Pasha back. Oh, wait. Boobies and booty, what? But yeah, so like I think it's interesting. What happens if they do? I know a lot of people don't like the best person for the job thing, and there is some excuse to it because Jodie Whittaker was not the best person to play Doctor Who. You know what I mean? And this actress is a very newer actress on the scene. Doesn't mean she's not qualified though. And again, there were white actresses, talking about the Batgirl thing, that were late in the casting decision. So to piggyback that, or to link that to the Kevin Smith thing, is there an element of over outrage? Do we engage in over outrage? I'm not even going to say it's fake or inauthentic. I'm not even going to say it's wrong or unwarranted. With all the stuff, with all the crazy casting, again, I brought up Jodie Whittaker. She wasn't the best person to play Doctor Who, but she got the job, right? And there's a lot of that. So if you're mad about that with the Batgirl thing, it's understandable. Even if Cameron Posh is 100% right, and I believe him, even you may make the argument, counter argue, well, just for them to have somebody that's not Batgirl, or isn't that just for them to have the potential to cast somebody that doesn't look like Batgirl is an issue, and I can't even disagree with that. But I can also understand, hey, the Eartha Kitt theory. Hey, Eartha Kitt wasn't, the ideal Catwoman in the 60s, but she did a fine job. I mean, honestly, all three of the Catwoman were hot in the air. Yes, there were three. If you remember, the movie was it Merriweather? I can't think of her name. I want to say Lee Merriweather. I have the damn DVDs and watch them fairly often. And Julie Newmar was the first two seasons, and then Eartha Kitt, the last one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, so I understand that argument too. And then there's with this He-Man thing. I'm trying to think of the best way. I don't think. I do think we have to stop being Lions fans. I know I'm a Lions fan and everything. I always joke that I'm a Lions fan. And what I mean by that is we have to stop giving them that energy. We have to stop getting mad. Doesn't mean stop commenting on it. Doesn't mean stop talking about it. But there's an emotional letdown. I can hear there's people who are upset. I can hear it in their heart. There are people who are heartbroken. And you just, I hate it. I really do. But the Lions are not making the playoffs next year. No matter how bad you want them to, they're not. And that's what you got to guard against. And then I keep saying that I got to get better. We have to get better at recommending alternatives and being that alternative also, but recommending alternatives. That's something we just have to. As far as Kevin Smith himself, I don't know if you could, I don't consider him a sham because he is what I thought he was. We let him off the hook. It's another sports reference. So yeah, I think is that Denny Green, if I remember correctly. I'm just going off the top. I'm still trying to get Hulu to get the beach volleyball. If it's on Hulu, please be on. And I wonder how are they doing? Do they have multiple things on at once since we're in the internet age? I don't want to see men's beach volleyball. Why do they even have that? The fuck? What is the point? Or does it start for us till 9? Okay, I'll check it out a little later. I don't want to do it. I can't do two. I can't walk and chew bubble gum. So what the hell am I doing, right? The fuck men's beach volleyball. All right, back to the show. Damn it, thought. I got distracted. Cancel's survival mode, just like Hollywood studios are. The Hollywood days are numbered. They are dinosaurs and are heading towards extinction, and it's all their fault. Absolutely. It is absolutely all their fault. They did this to themselves. And I feel bad for the people who just found out that Kevin Smith was a shill. I feel bad for the people who just, there are normies too. Remember, not everybody is as even well versed as us. There are a lot of normies who just found out Kevin Smith was a shill and just found out that He-Man was going to be wrong. It blindsided them. This was something they were going to toss their kids, and it blindsided them. And it didn't have to happen, man. There was an honest way of marketing this show, and he didn't do it. He didn't want to do it. And the interesting thing, and I'm not going to play the clip because even though I finally got AEW to finally drop that damn bullshit claim after fucking months, I don't want to get into any more trouble. So I have no copyright claims as of now. Thank goodness. Maybe because they're more worried about signing CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and fucking with YouTubers. But that's neither here nor there. In the video, a recent video, he had an interesting conversation when he brought up to Netflix about he calls it review bombing. It's not review bombing. There's a lot of people angry at what you did. It's just them insulating themselves from criticism. Like Tree Rock Creation said, hell again, if I didn't say it the first time, they're in survival mode. But what the Netflix guy said, and they kept saying in the thing, and that's why it's in the title, Streisand effect. The Netflix guy said, hey, a few thousand people said something online, even though there were like 5,000 or 6,000 people in the nooner this morning or afternoon for you, whatever time it is. But it's like, we have 200 million subscribers, basically saying this is a small minority. And that's what people do. Whenever someone disagrees with what they're saying, it's a small minority. That's why I don't even like just going so hard and just diminishing the SJWs. I don't want to. They're still humans, and I still need to see how valid or not they are. That's why it was good on the MFer. I keep referencing that show because it's so great. Matt was challenging us on the Cleveland Indians thing. We gotta elite. We're not. We don't want to be monoliths, so we have to consider it at least. But they've insulated themselves from criticism, and because they use Twitter, and I don't understand from a business standpoint how you could use Twitter of all social networks. TikTok, okay. If you said we're using TikTok for all our data, we're using Instagram. Instagram will actually be. I don't even use the damn platform, but I'm smart enough to recognize if you had to pick one platform to go with, I would probably say Instagram. Second, I would say YouTube. Those would be my two platforms. But even YouTube, as much as I love it, I feel like we're starting to lean with a slant, the opposite slant a little bit. But I think that's kind of what YouTube is getting known for. Not to say that it's a bad thing, but I'm just, that's just being fair. So if I'm being objective and I'm just being business and I'm trying to get the most normies, Instagram will be the platform I use. It would not be Twitter, but that's what they use. They use this very, 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 very slanted. The slant on Twitter is 1 trillion times more left than the YouTube slant. It's really centrist, YouTube, but even that's a slant, to be fair. But no, they use Twitter. So they've insulated themselves from criticism. They got 200 million subscribers, which is a few angry people. That's an interesting thing. That was an interesting insight. And I think it's something that kind of links like, okay, this is how they are able to consistently do this craziness and convince themselves that they are right all the time. And again, they're, to go back to this comment, I'll read other comments as well. They're dinosaurs heading towards extinction. And they don't know. Some of them know, but even those who know are still trying to convince themselves of otherwise. And I think even Kevin Smith, like his energy is based off of thinking that being in Hollywood is the end all be all. Being a Hollywood, and I think even a lot of us still feel that way, that Hollywood is the end all be all. And there are already alternatives. There are already people creating their own IPs that we don't always pay attention to or know. And I got to get better at that. And we all have to get better at searching for stuff. It happened in the music industry where independent artists are now the biggest artists. And I hear, and Cameron Pasha said it on the show, oh, you can't build an alternate film industry. And I think for some films, that's absolutely correct. But I've seen with the YouTube platform that people are willing to take, if they get what they're supposed to, rather, and a lot of times it's comedy I'm talking about, but they're willing to take lower production value for good content. So if there will come a time where there's enough talent and quality in something that is independent that will be viable enough. Even if it doesn't have the shine and polish of Hollywood, there are going to be creatives, because there ultimately always is, right? There will be creatives that can create really good content. It may not be full length. It may be a format we didn't think of. But 10 years ago, you couldn't have told me that Logan Paul and the Paul brothers would be the biggest draw in fight sports or combat sports. But they are. They're one of the most mainstream characters on earth. I know one of them was on the Disney Channel, and they're probably in the right they're going to the right Eyes Wide Shut parties, so to speak. That's neither here nor there. The format of entertainment they do is not the traditional Hollywood. And that's proof that it can happen, at least on that level. And I think it could happen because I've seen RDC World. They're like a comedy troupe out of Waco, Texas. And they do a lot of they do different stuff. Anime comedy. They've made fun of MCU. They make fun of a bunch of other stuff. They actually had a kind of, I don't know if it was anti-woke, but they had this one thing because they're black and about them pitching something to a network, and then the network exec constantly comes up with these racist things. Oh, they're all basketball players, right? They're all slaves, right? And it's like, no, they're just time travelers who are all friends. And it's like, oh, well, and that was the joke. But they've grown. I remember when they had they were a smaller channel, but still a big channel. Now they have 5 million subs. They've, whether they like them or not, they met LeBron James, who they made fun of, and they made themselves into something mainstream. And the production value isn't as good as SNL, but the jokes they're better, and so they blew up, and they've been working for a while. And there's a million stories like that of people. Even Ryan Long, he's a comedian. And he's been able to use this platform. There's certain avenues that can. Can you do a big budget action movie? Can you do a Black Widow on this platform? I don't know. But I do think we have to realize that's more viable. So let's see what you guys are saying. I've been rambling enough. You guys make this show. Please like and share if you haven't done either. Seriously, share on whatever platform you choose. Because that does help. That does help. I know Kaylee is really good at sharing. I appreciate that. 1:30 a.m. and so you should be asleep. Who knew the salt must flow? I get it. I get it. Tiki Doom said something I said was well said. I hope it was. I love Who Knew. He's been here for a while. RFR, who could you troll today? I'm not sure. Whoever you want. It's a free country, at least for right now. Once Kevin Smith married his wife, he was never the same. Yeah, I went there. I think that does have something to do with it. But I mean, it's just getting older. You get married, you have kids get grown, you nearly have a near-death experience. It's natural to think, just get this fucking money, fuck everybody. That's a natural thing to think when you're staring down the barrel of all that shit. Doesn't mean I like what you do, but I'm not going to act like I'm just some superhuman that if I was in the same position. I mean, my thought would be if I had a near-death experience, would to be to make the best artistic thing I possibly could. But some other people say, you know what? I got to have something in case I go. I got to have something for my family in case something happens to me. And I'm willing to sell out for it. So like I said, I don't think he's selling. I don't think that's how he always been, but I'm willing to bend the knee. I'm willing to mislead people. It sucks, but it's a lot of money. And yet, I mean, we're not staring down that barrel. So I do understand that element. What's his wife like? I don't know. She looks pretty crazy. No disrespect. Don't want to disrespect people's wives. But Tiki of Doom says she sounds scary and controlling and is an uber feminist. Uh-oh. That's not good. Sheesh, that sucks. A lot of that money. Well, at least it'll be to his family, hopefully, once she takes half, because he's a California. Review bombing. When it's ordinary fans who don't normally write reviews feel compelled to speak up. Yeah, I really hate that. Like, how if you're going to take every single time there's negative backlash towards a property as review bombing, you're literally saying we will never believe anything negative. And that's ridiculous. Remember the good old days when the audience could throw things at the actors and directors whenever they sold a bad show? Yeah, the tomatoes, even though that's pretty archaic, but I get it. That's what we're doing. And that's where the name, when Rotten Tomatoes were thrown, that's where the name comes from. That's where the name comes from, is that old trope. And you guys are yes and throwing stuff. Hopefully not at me. Oh, is Glenzer in here? Glenzer apparently sent Matt a super chat instead of me. And if you show up, I never saw your super chat. I never saw it, Glenzer. Matt got it because I have Matt's stuff promoting, and I always promote him because he's the homeboy. So his merch and his super chat links are, stream elements. And if you intended to send him, Matt, this is for Glenzer. And I saw him in the chat and I forgot to tell him. He probably thinks I'm the biggest asshole. So if anyone talks to Glenzer or sees Glenzer, let him know that I did not get his super chat. Matt did. If that's what he intended, that's fine. Because, hey, support Matt as well. And I'm sorry. Funny how review forums like RT was appropriated by the same corporates creating entertainment. And you know what it really was? And I'll say it. The MCU got a lot of love from Rotten Tomatoes, and nobody's questioned it. because a lot of people were just so pro MCU at the time. I'm talking about 2014, 15, 16. And they got a lot of and Disney movies in general got a lot of unabashed love, even when they weren't perfect. And that's how they got so brolic, because they said, "Oh, we were able to throw the praise way through the roof for Ant-Man, for whatever other thing," and nobody called them out on it. It wasn't until something like Captain Marvel and some of the Ghostbusters 2016 and some of that shit happened that people picked up on it. But they've been doing that since at least Age of Ultron. And yeah, Hollywood is done. Let's hope so. Tiki Doom says he appreciates the nuance. I try. Don't need to overreact. No, and I get. Some people found out Kevin Smith was a liar and that they were getting it wrong. He-Man at the same time, just a couple days ago. Hell, brightest day. Hey, and be sure to share the stream out. I appreciate it. Yes, please do. And hell to Authenticator. Hard to blame Kevin. This is hard, but I just understand being in that position of like having just had a heart attack and wanting to just like make the most money as possible and say fuck everything. Casper gives He-Man the John Connor treatment and acts surprised when fans give him negative reaction. You know what though? Here's another thing. Kevin Smith did not write He-Man. I wish, and that'd be something to find out. Find that quote. He was not real. At least that's the rumor, but it apparently was a quote. Actually, let me hit the old Brave. Authenticator says it's a class divide. Yeah. And they've insulated their own opinions from themselves. But let me see. Kevin Smith. Let me see. Typing into Brave or go be a Brave that he didn't write He-Man. Even Cosmic Book News says he was caught in a lie, and then he told angry He-Man fans to grow the fuck up. Maybe you should take your own advice, sir. You made a product that was unsatisfactory. People have the right to give an opinion. I think there's something to be said. Like I said, I don't want to just overreact for overreaction's sake. And yeah, again, class divide says Authenticator. Hell the weight down. Hell. So I guess you were on CC. I'm assuming it's Culture Casino. So I think that's cool. Pretty cool. Man, I don't know how I'm gonna find that quote. No, I'm gonna find that quote. But I will go ahead and at least talk about that and a couple other stories. I don't want to just focus on the same guy too much. Again, because I'm not a diehard He-Man fan. I did grow up with the toys. Like everyone else. Let's see. Masters of the Universe Revelation Media confirms series size line He-Man and Grace Randolph. So she asserts series has no strong male leads or support characters. This is from Spencer Baculi from Bounding in the Comics. I'm not going to go through the whole article. Just let me see. Skim it. And this is really just summing up some of the reaction. A lot of it mainstream. So following months of denial by alleged, I'm going to toss that word, alleged showrunner Kevin Smith, that He-Man does no stepping aside, which I guess is technically true. He just gets murdered. In the soon-to-be released first part, this is actually since been released, first part of Netflix's revival series. This is actually just actually a couple days old. Of the animated series, Masters of the Universe media reviews have confirmed that not only does the series sideline He-Man favor of Tila, but according to Grace Randolph, there's no strong male leads and support characters. And I think the relevance of this is just seeing what do normies or normie-oriented media, what is their opinions? Because I think we can be so echo chambery that we have to remember there are normies. That there are absolute normies. And they're part of it too. So with Revelation's first part set to premiere, and like I said, it already has premiered, numerous outlets ranging from major publications to critics have respected review of Smith's revival. Unsurprisingly, to those who kept apprised of the series promotion, summaries shared in these reviews appear to completely contradict Smith's rhetoric as far as He-Man. This is what The Verge said. They know that the series opening battle between the two iconic Leeds largely removes them from the story and shifts the focus to other characters, going on to follow Tila as she reluctantly sets about setting things right. And the big thing again, you could have not lied. You could have been honest and said, we're going to do some experimentation. We're going to put focus on other characters. We don't want to spoil things, but we're taking a little bit more of a darker, because remember, this is supposed to be a kids show. We're taking a little more of a darker element, and we're going to focus on other characters. You would have said that, not been so, lying and using He-Man in the promotional material so heavy, and none for any of the other characters. I mean, I guess it worked for Metal Gear Solid 2, but outside of that, I cannot think of a bait and switch, subverting expectations that works as similar. Interestingly, the most outright confirmation is that Smith was less upfront with fans about the series' direction. Again, he lied. He-Man is missing. Castle Grayskull is gone. This is what San Francisco Chronicle said. He-Man is missing. Castle Grayskull is gone. Magic has left the planet. Thus, it's left to Tila, once captain of the Royal Guard, now an embittered mercenary, to save Eternia. You could have advertised it that way. Prince Adam and He-Man, voiced by Supergirl's Chris Wood, are important, but they really serve as backdrop in a manner similar to how Max acts to lesserly Furiosa and Mad Max Fury Road, which I actually kind of like. Revelation draws up upon but I'm not a diehard Mad Max fan. Upon the might and majesty of He-Man to facilitate others' art, and writes reviewer. I'm not making this up. Apparently, Matt wrote this review. Wait a second. Matt works for IGN? All this time we thought it was YouTuber. It says reviewer Matt Fowler. What the fuck? We've been bamboozled. He's the Mo. I'm joking. I'm assuming this is a different Matt Fowler. I think that's funny. I think this is hilarious. Somebody clip this and send this to Matt that I'm calling him out for being a Mo. This is Tila's show. Show details so important to the site quoted it for a mid-article header. I'm kind of trying to see what this is just really talking about the reporting. Is there anyone talking about the criticism? I guess Grace Randolph has the biggest thing. So she says, He-Man was a boys show and She-Ra was the girls show. So why is the new Master of the Universe based on a boys show? So the majority of fans coming in at original fandom are going to be boys who are now men. Why doesn't it have a single lead male character or even a strong supporting character? I don't believe anyone would have a problem with upping the women's roles, added Randolph. I agree with that. I think that, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's the unfortunate combination of upping the women's roles and pretty much taking away the men's roles. That ding. Why would you do that? She questioned in conclusion to her thoughts on a male cast. It's not necessary and just creates drama that the show doesn't need for no reason. And as much shit as we talk about Grace Randolph, 930,000 subscribers. So she's mainstream, rather, we can make fun of the all we want. She's fucking mainstream. So when she sees that and she can lean woke, other people see that too, Mr. Smith. Again, I don't think you're a sellout. I think you are what I thought you were. But other people see that too. So that's what you see. Authenticator says they care about more authority, validity, and abstract morality than logic, objectivity, or substance. Maybe above my pay grade to kind of break down. No offense. Sorry. But I do think they do care more about power and authority than anything. And I think they're always trying to define morality. And they don't really, the problem, they can never understand logic because they don't believe in the truth. They don't believe in a concrete morality. So if that's what you're trying to say, I agree with, but I don't want to misrepresent what you're trying to say with ignorance. Stepping aside, written out, there's no difference. And that's the scary thing. So nobody understands. Mind shooting you a link? Well, I can. I really do want to get through the other articles because I have, I was also going to, I can for a little bit, but I don't want to go too long because I'm kind of on the clock and I want to do my gaming after I cover this stuff and a couple other subjects. So Let me hold. I'm gonna hold off on that. If you're here a little later, then maybe for a little bit we can talk before I start the game. I do want to have to work and everything, so I wanted to kind of keep everything really tight and already had it planned out. So I apologize, man. We can empathize with He-Man fans. We've already watched this. My favorite franchises, Star Trek and Doctor Who, get ransacked and destroyed by people who care more about being on trend. And anyway, now R4 has to go. Yep. I appreciate you being here, R4, as I roll by a little. Peace. Rename the show either She Ma'am, that's what I thought of, but Trinoculus P. Hail Trinoculus P says Dead Man. And hail Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collective. The collective of guinea pigs. Checkmate. No, I know you. I think you were just talking about the clip with reviewer Matt Fowler. That's what they said. I need to check that out. I think it was IGN. Yeah, motherfucker works for IGN this whole time. Look at this shit, Matt Fowler. We know how it is. Also, if you're curious, it's this guy. After you see it, I removed the link from the chat. Yeah, I see it. You're not Grace Randolph, but that's the thing. Even she can tell. Even she can tell it. Let me actually check out Matt's real account as he's been lying to us, as we now know. Let's see. So this is Matt's real account. This is really Matt. This is actual Matt. We've been lied to this whole time. Is that Becky Lynch? Here's Becky Lynch. Look at actual Matt and Becky Lynch. What the hell? We've been getting this disguise. And he I guess when he's done, he puts on his hair, this little weird beard, the glasses, the little cuck face, and he goes on. He's been lied to this whole time. Damn it. Okay. I'm obviously joking. Yeah, again, Grace Randolph got it too. And think what you will about Grace, but she's a real entertainment journalist. Yeah, she's taking some risks. And she's been, you know what? I think Grace Randolph can get, people make fun of her, but I think she gets a bad rap. I'm not saying I agree with everything she's ever said always. But you listen, if you compare it to the rest of mainstream, I would take her over them. Like I said, she was able to see what the hell was going on with this. Even she could see it. Grace Randolph flops more than an old man in retirement community. Yeah. And I get that Metal Gear Solid reference all too well. And that's, to be fair, Metal Gear Solid 2 was a complete and admitted bait and switch. And it pissed a lot of people off at the time, but then you sit back after years, you're like, that was one of the most creative things. And Authenticator, no worries. We'll try to get you in. Man. And yeah, this is the link that I'm looking at, actually. I'm already looking at it, man. Needs more mohawk. That's the article link above. That's the article I'm reading already. Wait down. That's this article. So I'm already ahead of you, man. But I think everything that can be said has been said about this thing. It's a mess. It's a mess, and I don't know if fucking Kevin Smith was even anything but an add-on, similar to Amelia Clark in the MOM mom comic, Mother of Madness. Same sort of thing. You tag on the celebrity. You come up with everything pre-made. You tag on some G-list celebrity, H-list celebrity, and then you toss them on. You say, "Hey, they created this." Like, no, they didn't. They really didn't. Hold on a second. I need to check the D Live. I don't check those guys often enough, and every now and again there is something legitimately in the D Live. So I gotta check that. Even though D Live, I've been on that damn platform now over a year, have done almost. I mean, I got, what am I at on D Live? Like 19 followers, but I've spent like so many hours on D Live, all for like little to nothing. So whatever. I appreciate everyone, but I have gotten a few subs from D Live. Doesn't look like anyone's here. Oh no, I misunderstand. I thought the Authenticator. Oh, Authenticator was asking. Okay, if the Authenticator was asking, then ignore what I'm saying. I'm the idiot. You know what's hilarious? After everything we know Rotten Potatoes does with numbers, people still look at their page. It's got to be a lot less though, and I think people just normies are busy. I'm a normie and I'm busy as shit. Not really a normie, obviously, but like you get busy and you just want just simple answers. That's why that's what really is kind of heartbreaking. A He-Man series that was just true to what it is and simple would have hit right now. I think what helps Grace is she's actually in there, not that's appropriate. Yeah, she is. She's been a pretty unabashed nerd, especially for DC, which I always appreciate. I always have a soft spot for Grace Randolph because she was one of the few people, even when I disagreed with her opinions, but just one of the few people when everybody's a Marvel stan, and like I said, there was a lot of Marvel being bought off. She would still be in DC's corner. So I do still have some appreciation for that. But let's switch gears. And this is a story that maybe a little bit outside the norm, but it's still something I think we need to talk about. Activision, this is weird. I'm a British. I have my little VPN in London, but they still have Donald Trump coins in the advertising. Whatever. Activision Blizzard is hit with a lawsuit over alleged frat boy workplace culture, including on-the-job alcohol use. Actually, I think I know what it is. Hold on a second. I think I need to reload the page because even though I have where I'm located in the description box, sometimes they give too specific things of where I'm located. Alrighty. So maybe that was why. But anyways, apparently there was on-the-job alcohol use, rampant sexual harassment of female employees. Now, the gaming industry is no different than the movie industry now. I mean, a lot of people know of The Last of Us, but I mean, not only that, there's so many, and there's always been female leads since Samus, but there's a lot of female leads, and there's a lot of wokeness, a lot of preaching. And this is how Activision Blizzard did things. And if the reports are true, it's pretty fucked up, legitimately fucked up. They scream so much about sexism and Me Too when they're the ones doing the most of it. It's the entertainment industry, and gaming is a part of that. Hits keep coming for Activision Blizzard, fresh off of a confirmed loss of millions of players from Blizzard's products and rumors of World of Warcraft's implosion. The Call of Duty and Overwatch publisher is now being sued by the state of California for fostering and permitting a discriminatory and unsafe, I think it's supposed to say frat boy work culture within the company. According to the lawsuit filed against Activision Blizzard on July 20th by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing on behalf of 10 of the company's female employees. The video game titan has not only discriminated against women on its workplace by preventing their advancement to leadership and paying them less salary, incentive, pay, and total compensation than their male peers. I'm not going to get into the wage gap because that can be bullshit. But when I read through this article, there's some legit bullshit at Activision Blizzard. At least our reports are falser. Everything's reported, everything's alleged. We don't want to go too hard on the other side, but it's just so funny that these entertainment motherfuckers always have this crazy shit attached to them while they talk so much shit about us. But also by fostering a pervasive frat boy work culture that continues to thrive. In the office, women were subjugated to cube crawls in which male employees drunk copious amount of alcohol as they crawl their way through various cubicles and engage in inappropriate behavior towards female employees. I'm assuming they mean just like wander. They don't mean legitimately crawl because it's in parentheses. Male employees probably came into work hungover. That's not good. Whenever you have people coming in to work drunk or hungover, that's fucked up, legitimately. They played video games for long periods of time during work while delegating their responsibilities to female employees and engaged in banter about their sexual encounters, talked openly about female bodies, and joked about grape juice. We'll just call it about that. And I'll be fair. I did have one friend. I think she used to work at an attorney's office. She used to actually like deal with that legit. Because we always want to say, oh man, it's not there. But in a lot of these high, super rich, super powerful motherfuckers, they just feel indestructible and they can be ignorant of shit. So I have heard of some of this shit, not in the game industry. Like I said, I was a lawyer, but that's neither here nor there. Further asserting that female employees are subjugated to constant sexual harassment, including having to fend off unwanted comments and advances by their male coworkers and supervisors. Mixed because I don't like the precedent of anytime somebody talks to a woman is sexual harassment, but if they're showing up drunk and just crawling into each, not literally, but going into each woman cubicle and delegating their job while they play video games, that's kind of a problem. Even though I imagine playing video games, if as far as testing functions, is probably a part of it. They have testers and shit, but okay. This one is fucked up though. This is the legit thing. It's why I read this story. So the state elaborates on the effects of this culture. Had one of the company's female employees recalling a particularly tragic example wherein a female employee reportedly, everything's reported and alleged, but reportedly self-deleted during a business trip with a male supervisor, had bought butt plugs and lubricant with him on the trip. That's insane. And another employee confirmed that the deceased employee may have been suffering from other harassment at work prior to her death, specifically the holiday party. Male coworkers were alleged to be passing around a picture of her junk. That's extreme, man. Even if somebody in her work office had that picture, to be passing around at a holiday party is fucked up. And if people had all this stuff, she ends up offering herself. That's fucked up, man. Lawsuit also claims Activision Blizzard human resources personnel and executives, including Blizzard President Alan Brack, failed to take effective remedial measures in response to these complaints. And this is what sucks. Some assholes do something stupid or act ignorant or do something really fucked up. And it goes to where all men are toxic because there are a few legitimately shitty people. And then we're like, what? Nobody does this stuff. Well, a few people do. All it takes is a few really powerful assholes. And then they'll extrapolate that to everyone. And then all of a sudden everyone has on pins and needles and eggshells. But like, again, this is really fucked up stuff. Is there more? I'm not going to, this is a statement. It's a huge statement. So, I will read it. In a lengthy statement sent to various media outlets, including Kotaku and The Wire, Activision Blizzard refuted the lawsuit's allegations, arguing that it includes distorted and, in many cases, false descriptions of Blizzard past. So here's their statement. So let's be, objective, right? We have been extremely cooperative with the DFEH, that's the organization in California, throughout their investigation. I think it's Fair Employment and Housing, Department of Fair Employment and Housing, including providing them with extensive data, ample documentation, but they refuse to inform us what issues they perceive. They are required by law to adequately investigate and have good faith discussions with us to better understand and resolve any claims and concerns before going to litigation, but they failed to do so. Instead, they rushed to file an inaccurate complaint. As we will demonstrate in court, we are sickened by the reprehensible conduct of the DFEH to drag into the complaint tragic self-deletion of an employee whose passing had no bearing whatsoever on the case, with no regard for a grieving family. Without knowing the details, I can't confirm or deny what happened there. While we find this behavior to be disgraceful and unprofessional, it's unfortunately an example of how they conducted themselves throughout the course of the investigation. This type of irresponsible behavior from unaccountable state bureaucrats driving many of the best state businesses out of California. Well, that is true. Definitely. That's why there's a whole thing. This whole election. Shout out to Larry Elder. And let me see the picture. DFEH paints is not the Blizzard workplace of today. Over the past several years, continuing since the initial investigation started, we've made significant changes to address company culture and reflect more diversity in our leadership teams. Well, I mean, you got to not have people joke about grape and drive people to off themselves with butt plugs. Like, that can't be true. Like, no matter what color the leadership is, employees can't be doing that. And again, I don't know if it's true. They refute it. So that's, I got to be fair to both sides. We are still in the innocent to proven guilty, at least supposedly, type of world, or we're supposed to be. So I got to aim for that, even if I don't trust anybody in the entertainment industry and can believe some of this crazy shit. We've updated our code of conduct to emphasize a strict non-retaliation focus, amplify internal programs and channels for employees to report violations in the ask list, with confidential integrity hotline. So this is just the stuff they said. So they basically refute everything. They talk about they've taken proactive steps to ensure pay is driven by non-discriminatory factors, rewarding employees based upon performance, things like that, and are confident in their ability to demonstrate their practices as an equal opportunity employer. So yeah. So I don't know. It's fucked up either way. And again, the gaming industry, just like the rest of the entertainment industry, is pretty good about talking shit about us. This does not look good. I don't want this to be true because I don't want people to suffer. But it may be, because really powerful companies do really fucked up things to their employees. So let's see what you got. You guys have actually kind of left completely about that. And she does look at the numbers, talking about Grace. Okay, Viz, no judgment. Grace Randolph is over Anita Sarkeesian, whoever that crazy bitch spells her name. Yeah, I would say so. I like Grace Randolph. She's pretty cute, even still. Smith did the bare minimum when he said in the interview he only wrote or co-wrote a few episodes. Facepalm, oh guys, the Blizzard story. So you were probably more into this than I had. I had heard something about it, but only read through it earlier, and it wasn't really as abrupt on it or up to it. Yes, I do agree they have to define the terms harassment. They do have to define the terms harassment. That's why I'm like, I do hesitate to just, believe all women when I hear sexual harassment, because it's like, what does that mean? But if a guy had, but then again, he could have had the butt plugs for himself. Who knows? Activision didn't drive away thousands of Blizzard. Activision didn't drive thousands away from Blizzard properties. They drove away millions. Holy shit. Activision and ridiculous policies and stances could turn anyone to alcoholic. They destroyed WoW or World of Warcraft. That sucks. This is just it's a shitty story. Shitty story. I don't know what to say, because I'm not a state guy. I'm not a believe all women guy. I'm a believe the truth. I can't tell you why that one person unfortunately off themselves. And if there are people coming in drunk, that's not a cool thing. As far as I'm with Authenticator, you got to define what harassment means. You can't just say it and just like, oh, we believe you because you said harassment. It's like, what does that mean? But it's not like these powerful companies are all clean. If anyone who's ever read, and I guess it wasn't harassment, anyone who ever read the ESPN book, Those Guys Have All the Fun, it was like coke binges and gangbangs at ESPN. So it's like crazy things happen in these corporate environments. So you got to be, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. This is a story I'm trying to cover as nuanced and as balanced as possible. Just cover what I know and or what I'm seeing. And it could go either way. It could be either way. There's usually a shade of gray in this type of story, but it's fucked up either way. And again, my main thing is when you have companies like this fucking up everything and these industries who always talk shit to us, even remember Naughty Dog, they're shaming us when they have terrible work practices. Clean your room, says, according, to go with the Red Skull logic. So this is something that may, if you guys are Doomcock guys, there's an alleged WB insider who's debunking the rumors of Patterson and Matt Reeves having conflict, because that's something Doomcock had did a lot of reporting on. There was reports of, if you guys remember the report about his body being an issue, about him not being big enough. Sorry about that. And yeah, Wake Down's right. Don't forget to smash the like button if you haven't. Please smash the like button. Hail Lobster, yes. The Lobster says clean your room. You got to clean your room. I've been cleaning this room, actually. That's what I've been doing all day. Actually kind of sore. This room was a mess because I haven't really hardly been able to move. All right. The game ended. The game of industry telephone surrounding Batman continues as an alleged Warner Brothers insider has refuted the widespread rumors that the director Matt Reeves and star Robert Pattinson have been at odds during the making of the film, even adding on the two will supposedly be able to collaborate on future cinematic outings of the Caped Crusader. Yeah, maybe there's going to be a sequel, depending on how popular this is. Stories of Pattinson's supposedly poor behavior during production, not showing up to set in shape, clashing with Reeves, getting Zoe Kravitz pregnant on the hood of the Batmobile, have persisted over the past year of the Batman's filming. And these were all rumors. Doomcock, his name is being used in his bounty article because he was one of the biggest sources. I guess it wasn't just him. I didn't know we got this covered. And Gary Truncliffe also had this. I don't know who Gary Truncliffe is, but I didn't know that. Other people reported it. I mean, we got this cover. It's never one to use, and they probably just used Doomcock's report. But it's interesting. I don't know who Gary Truncliffe is, but he did report it. But everyone, including Doomcock, said take with a grain of salt. This is all rumor, and I think with the getting her pregnant on the Batmobile, that was just such a fun rumor. We all want it to be true because it sounds so cool. So you go on the family court, then it sucks. Lies. Maybe it's all lies. According to an individual known to have close ties with Warner Brother Pictures, HBO Max, spoke to UK film outlet Small Screen. He or she says, as far as I'm aware, Robert and Matt will be working together on the Batman sequel. The hype surrounding the movie here at WB is palpable. Warner Brothers is happy with how the film was turning out. They were also happy with Batman versus Superman. And Grace Randolph, to tie it all together, is one of the people who report that back in the day. They want Pattinson and Reeves to make a second one. I mean, they are investing a lot because they have talked about the Batgirl thing. I don't know if that's going to be involved in the same universe, but there is going to be a Gotham-esque crime drama. I think it's called Gotham PD or something like that, starring Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. And I hope, just for logic's sake, because I don't know how normies are going to understand anyone's canon with all these damn multiverses, that Batgirl is actually in this universe as well. That's neither here nor there. Let's keep moving. On the very speculation of the animus and dissension between parties, the source brushed it off as nothing more than Pattinson and Twilight haters stirring the pot. Well, I mean, the rumors are coming from somewhere. There could be Twilight haters who are feeding these rumors. But I mean, I don't know. The rumors of them not getting along just being spread by nobodies on Twitter and YouTube. I don't know about that. That were upset the bloke from Twilight was cast as Batman, they said. So they're going with the company line. Doesn't mean it's wrong, but I disagree with that. I think people were just reporting rumors. Again, they mentioned a few sources, but a lot of people had that damn Zoe Kravitz story. A lot of people. I think didn't the Hollywood Reporter or somebody big have that Catwoman story? Somebody big reported that as well. So, or they reported it as rumor. Everyone reported it as rumor. But that's a bit. I think you're trying to diminish people. The source additionally acknowledged that these pot stirrers may also be fans who are upset that Ben Affleck isn't the only Batman in the DCEU anymore. He says they also think the Ben Affleck Batman thing has riled people up in the wrong way. I'm a fan of the look of Batfleck. He did okay, I guess, with what he was given. But I do want a Batfleck series. That's neither here nor there. Let's keep on with the article. However, when contacted by Small Screen for comment on the rumors of Pattinson's salacious on-set behavior, a Warner Brothers rep told Sightwater Ed Lauer there's no truth in those rumors. So they just said, no truth. Going into greater detail, a separate rep told Lauer Reeves and Pattinson have devoted themselves to doing the DC Comics of Batman justice and are excited for audiences to see the Batman when it's released March 4th, 2022. It's only like 8 months from now. Because we're basically in August. Less than that, about 7 months. After that, Reeves will explore police corruption and Gotham PD. That is what it's called. coming to HBO Max. Well, Patterson will be developing movies and TV series as a part of a deal that encompasses the previous mentioned streamer, and that's the most important part. There is a contract for Robert Pattinson to develop movies with Warner Brothers with his own company through HBO Max and whatever else WB wants. So there could be a middle ground. There definitely is always room for a middle ground, especially with rumors that could be, or the rumors could just be false. We'll see. But I do find it hard to believe that there's a lot of hate coming from a guy that they just gave this big deal outside of the Batman, as far as Robert Pattinson, that they would give. And I reported that months and months and months ago on this channel on one of my Vigilante Williamson shows. I could not tell you the episode offhand, but I do remember reporting Robert Pattinson, and somebody in the chat I think was telling me about it. But Robert Pattinson has a deal with Warner Brothers to do shows and do movies and do content as a producer. So if he has that deal, you're telling me he has this deal and they're ready to kick him out? It just seems unlikely. Doesn't mean everything was all rosy the whole time and there's no truth to anything. But whatever we have, they have to have some belief in him. Even though apparently he was, and this one I think is all but confirmed, he was not the director's first choice, was the studio's. So there's that. There's that. The tech that Warner Brothers is trying to cover their ass again. WB, and this Joker thing will never work. Take $56 million and go away. Also, WB pours money into anything else. Movie flops. Yes, that is kind of what they do. They spent more on Birds of Prey than they did Joker. You know what I mean? Hey, boom. I appreciate you showing up because not everyone showed up. So I'm gonna do a positive story. And I do want to play some Streets of Rage. What time is it? Do not want to. I'm probably only going to go like 45 minutes. I know the Authenticator wanted to get in here. Unfortunately, I think I kind of, because I put Streets of Rage in the thing. So if you're willing to talk, I guess for a little bit while I play Streets of Rage, maybe. But I don't want to play super long because maybe 45 minutes to an hour. Just because I have to work tomorrow and I have to sleep. So there's that sleep thing. And I still have other stuff I need to get done. But we will talk about something positive before transitioning into the game. And we'll see what Authenticator says to what I just said. But Denver police are giving out advanced auto parts gift cards instead of tickets. Now, this is just an interesting thing. As you know, I'm not a back to blue guy, but I'm not a defund the police guy either. I'm a neutrality guy. The Denver Police Department and Advanced Auto Parts have joined forces to serve the community and help keep motorists safe in the Mile High City. This is in Denver. Police officers will now be handing out gift cards to the automotive parts provider instead of writing up tickets. So here's how the program is going to work. Is now they pull over a motorist for, say, a bad headlight, defective taillight. They have the option to give a $25 gift card, which is not going to help with everything. $25. Especially nowadays, but they have the option to give them a gift card instead. I guess the store donated $125 gift cards to the Denver Police Department to launch this new vehicle safety program. Very much looking forward to this, said Denver Police Chief Paul Payson. Advanced Auto Parts donation not only helps us get greater compliance with the motoring public, also helps build and strengthen relationships of our community with our community. I actually think stuff like this, say what you will about why it happened, and we probably all agree on a lot of this being bullshit, but the police do have there's a negative aura with a good portion of people about police. And I'm not a statist, so I'm only going to be so far, but I don't think they should be defunded necessarily either. I think cool things like this are going to be a necessary thing for the police to, you can say it's not all they're doing. The Denver Police Department were involved in a lot of stuff that happened, you know what I mean? But I do think this is going to be something that's necessary going forward for a lot of these police departments to kind of repair their image after the mainstream media spent a year destroying it and tearing it down and telling them they were demons and demonizing police departments and defunding, getting police departments defunded. That did happen. A lot of places defunded their police. They're paying the price for it now. but it did happen. And criminals, just at the thought of defunding the police, went crazy. That's just a reality. Hell, just today, Gary talked about a guy being outside of his door just the last night. And I hope he had a 9mm microphone on him. I know he's a felon, but I mean, shit, rather get caught with it than caught without one. So it's a crazy world out there. I hope the police, I don't know what I'm going to say. I hope we can get into a better situation with policing. And if they have to do something like this, and I've always thought that the biggest thing to help police is for them to have less reasons to pull people over. So frivolous laws and frivolous things can be stamped out. If they're more willing to give out gift cards and tickets, I think that's a positive thing. It's a step in the right direction. All right, man. So I'm gonna get the game started because, like I said, I don't know really what that was the plan. That's why it's in the description, and I'll send you the link. So hold on a second, man. Alrighty, because I don't actually have it up. You guys probably will hear the game. And hold on. Where are you here? Alrighty. Alright, where's this thing? Alright. Sorry, can you guys hear the audio? You probably already can hear the audio. It's coming through my TV. But you guys should still be. Can you guys hear audio right now? Let me know if you can. Because if you can, I'll just keep it moving and then show you the screen, but you should still be able to hear it now. All right, the music stopped. You should hear sound effects of me moving actually on the menu. Let me actually just show you guys. Oh, Jesus. Way to go away. Shout out to Tommy Hitman Hearns. All right. Do you hear me moving? Please, chat, let me know. Okay, hell, Authenticator, let me put my headphones back on because he just showed up. And Bone says he can hear me, which is cool. And hey, Dalton, how you doing? Oh, that keeps happening. Hold on. What's up?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, apart from the fact that today was my birthday, not too much.
Oh, happy birthday, man! Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Doing anything special for your birthday?
Curious.
26.
We went and made a weekend of it. We went up to a hotel, and last night we went out to a local distillery, and there was live music and everything, and it was cool. So
cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a full weekend. I don't get out much, so it frankly wore me right the fuck out. But sometimes that's good. So
yeah.
And given the other things that could conceivably be wearing me out right now, I will take being worn out by happiness than being worn out by existential dread. Trademark.
Yeah. Were you a He-Man guy?
I was a pretty big fan of the 2002 reboot, and I went back and watched the 80s one because I'm a big fan of classic cartoons. It was never my favorite thing, but I got deep into the lore because I'm a nerd and I get into the deep lore of everything I get into. I'm still probably gonna watch this one though because it looks really good. Like it looks like they're trying, like aesthetically, they're trying to kind of blend the classic He-Man with the 2002 reboot and everything. So I'm hoping that I can just quietly grit my teeth and look past some of the woke woo. I hope.
Yeah.
But then again, who knows? I will get extremely annoyed if they fuck around with the magic system because I am very protective of magic systems just as a general rule. Do
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want, just don't fuck with the magic system. It's basically my go-to response to everything. But of course, as we know, that never seems to. They never seem to get to a line where it's like, okay, we can stop meddling now.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Did you hear any of the
spoilers? There is no line.
Have you heard any of the spoilers already?
I've heard a lot of things like Tila, but I don't really know the specifics as to what happens. I'm assuming they overinflate her role because of the Mad Max Fury Road comparisons made just a little while ago. So
yeah, okay.
Honestly, it really matters more if they make her character interesting. If they make her character interesting, then I don't care. Like I didn't care when it was Furiosa in Mad Max Fury Road either, because she was an interesting character and she wasn't like a feminist stand-in character, unlike Rey, who has no personality other than feminist Mary Sue character. So yeah, it's as long my go-to rule has always been have whatever politics and whatever woo you want, as long as it doesn't interfere with the quality of the storytelling. The moment it interferes with the quality of the storytelling is when I throw all kinds of shit at you.
Yeah, I think really, to me, what the big issue in this case was just honesty. If they were honest, you know what I mean? And Bone says he's not watching Garbage of the Universe. And hell, Nerd Portal.
The bait and switch.
The bait and switch. And this is almost the most damning thing anyone can say. Nerd Portal says, watched episode 1, episode 2 looks boring. That's the worst thing on earth. Can't be boring.
Yeah, because the best quality that the trailer had was that it was interesting looking. So
yeah,
I'm probably still gonna watch it if for no other reason than they got Mark Hamill to do Skeletor, which is just genius. I mean, it would be nice if he could do voices other than his just regular voice and his Joker voice, but Skeletor by way of Joker voice is not a bad way of doing Skeletor. So, meh.
Yeah. I think, but I mean, unfortunately, I know the spoilers, so I don't want to let it go. But yeah. But I mean, there's still a second.
You can go ahead. I don't mind spoilers. Spoilers actually usually I end up looking up the spoilers myself before I watch things.
Okay, well, yeah. So apparently, they both He-Man and Skeletor died the first episode, and that's they lead off. It's John Connor from Dark Fate. Now there's a rumored return in the second half of the series that comes out in a few months. But they just off rip kill them both.
I was expecting something awful, but I didn't expect them
to just start off killing them. I actually thought they would die later in the season.
Yeah, I was expecting something approximating that too at some point, but like to do a He-Man and to do a Masters of the Universe anything post He-Man and like I could understand killing off He-Man and then we get the dystopian timeline of what if Skeletor won kind of thing. That has some interesting dramatic potential, but to kill off both He-Man and Skeletor is just like it's kind of like in Last Jedi when they spent the entire previous movie building up Snoke and then it's like nope, he gets shipped in the neck by lightsaber because reasons.
Yep, and we still don't know what Snoke is or who he was or what. He's just some guy.
It was a clone, and Palpatine was was manipulated. And okay, Disney. This is a complete sidebar, but Disney, you already should have known that you had at your disposal the Dark Empire storyline, where Palpatine actually did use clones and the Sith power of essence transfer, and you could have just had Ian McDormand the whole time. If that was in fact what you wanted to do, instead of just covering your ass because Rian Johnson nuked from orbit all the actual plans you had.
Yeah, and that's one of the worst things. They had such little of a plan, and like they could, if they would have executed a woke beginning, middle, and end, I think a lot of people would have accepted it because there would have been a plan. But there was no plan.
It would have at least been a consistent story, but they didn't even bother that. They got JJ in there to do it, and he, being the grand poobah of passable bullshit that he is, handed a completely serviceable, passable story in, but it at least was a Star Wars story. And then Rian Johnson was like, I never liked Star Wars. I'm going to make an anti-Star Wars movie. Okay, Ryan, are you going to make it in something other than Star Wars? No, I'm going to make an anti-Star Wars story in Star Wars. Isn't that great? No, Ryan, no. That is a terrible, horrible, really bad, no good idea. Please don't do that. Oh, no, he did it.
The opposite of great, Ryan. And and, Tommy from the Guinea Pig Collector there. The fact that he lied about everything is what got everyone scanned, besides the character destruction. And real quick, because I know Islington Girl simps for Skeletor, because we all know Skeletor can't keep his shit together long enough for that. They should have done classic He-Man because it's stupid easy. That's what she says. But just want to get into the chat environment. Go ahead, man.
But yeah, and then of course the third one was when Disney realized they done fucked up and was like, "Save us, JJ, save us!" And JJ came in there probably thinking, "Okay, I'll just pick up where I left off." Oh wait, Ryan nuked everything I made. Cram 2 movies worth of movie into one movie. And then the results were what they were. But anyway, on to more current matters. Star Wars has been on my mind because on my show that I normally do on Sundays with the Brainstormer Pop Culture, we've been covering the Rewriting Ripley article, the conspiracy theory white supremacy article about Star Wars.
I didn't read through that thing. It was complete crazy.
It's taking us several weeks to get through because we're actually trying to parse what the actual fuck this guy was thinking, and there is a metric. No, it has to be real. Only human beings and human intentions can result in this much stupidity. I'm convinced of it. But yeah, we're trying to parse, and we just did the 7th part of it in our most recent episode, and we're only halfway through. So that one's gonna be a multi-part epic by the time we're done trying to sieve something sensible out of that bullshit conspiracy theory web of an article in the form of an academic dissertation there. Oh boy.
Yeah. Real quick, if any of the modulantes are here, if you guys could please toss a link for Authenticator's channel so we can try to get subs up. I know there's a varying amount of people.
Yes, I'm currently sitting at 154. So if everyone watching would mind going over to my channel, subscribing, and watching some of the back content. And yeah, I know I haven't made new content. Well, actually, no, I have made new content fairly recently because I threw out a completely bullshit Saturday Night Bloopers video recently of me singing Billy Joel's Piano Man. So if for some reason you desired to see me sing Billy Joel's Piano Man and make a complete fool of myself while doing so, there is a video that you could go and watch that has that as a thing.
Cool. I'm trying to figure out why this sound wasn't working. It's neither here nor there. Let's see.
It was working when I was listening in. I think it's fine.
Oh, because I just checked it on my phone and I didn't hear it. But
is your phone muted? Maybe.
No, I was able to. I checked on my phone. I was able to hear like us talk, but I couldn't hear the like sound in the background.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure. Like I'm trying. I'm just gonna try to restart the game to see if the sound will come through. But Tommy in the Guinea Pig Collector says, if that's what the writers had in mind, that would be one thing. But he came out and said this was a continuation and it was literally about He-Man. He came across more phony than either JJ and Johnson. Yeah, it's true. That's the biggest thing. He didn't have to lie. He could have just been, we're doing something. He didn't, I get not, you don't want to tell everyone, hey, we're going to you could have said this is going to be more Tila focused and more focused on the other characters, and we're going to try something darker. But that's not what he said.
Or alternatively, you could have said it in the same continuity as She-Ra, because as far as we know, in the She-Ra-verse, there is no Prince Adam. So if you wanted to make that universe's Prince Adam a complete waste of time and energy, that would have been one thing as well. Since She-Ra is already wokeified to a ludicrous degree, obviously not the original She-Ra and not the 2002 reboot She-Ra. I'm talking about the explicitly on purpose wokeified version of She-Ra. If you wanted to make that universe's version of Prince Adam and be a continuation of that continuity, that probably would have saved you a lot of ire too, because most actual He-Man fans, I think, have written off the CalArt She-Ra, basically. The Steven Universe version of She-Ra, basically.
Yeah.
Which that isn't to say anything particularly bad about Steven Universe. Right up until the finale, where they completely Deus Ex Machina'd everything and made all the world building amount to exactly fuck all. I actually liked a lot of the later parts of Steven Universe, but that might just be me.
I wasn't too big into that, but I did like the first 3 seasons of Adventure Time, and I know some of the same people worked on both. But I know Steven Universe was huge, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. I think of the 3 of them, the best of the lot is Gravity Falls. Those are like the 3 standard bearers for actual good shows in this fucked up art style.
Yeah. I know a lot of Gravity Falls is another one I didn't really check out. I know a lot of people do have love for that though.
Oh, it's good. It really is. If you want to see a good version of what they try to do with all the other bullshit shows, watch Gravity Falls, because it's basically the only time that whole way of doing things has 100% worked. And this is coming from a guy who thinks that Cartoon Network has basically been useless ever since they canceled the good action cartoons from the early 2010s, like Generator Rex and the Ben 10 continuations. And don't even get me started on the stupidity that was Omniverse, or we will be here all night.
I never actually heard of Omniverse. I did hear the Ben 10, because that was a kind of an older franchise now, and I know it continued on. Real quick, Islington Girl had a few comments. She says she does still simp for Skeletor, but she cannot if he's dead, which is true, unless you're into necromancy.
He is a skeleton dude, so necromancy isn't entirely off the table here.
That's true. That is very true. Another thing that Kevin Smith could have said is we're exploring a new story within the Masters of the Universe. He could have said a lot of things, but he said this is about He-Man. This is too super metal. He went after Clownfish TV, and then he unnecessarily a year ago he could have let it go. They never added him. They never went to him. They just reported the rumors they heard, and it was unnecessary. That's the real, at least my thing. Like you didn't have to do things that way.
Stop invalidating anyone who steps out of line ever. This whole these are the morally inferior people because reasons bullshit is well and truly old now. Please knock it fuck off.
And then, like I mentioned earlier, apparently, at least in that one recent stream, that the comments and shit are not allowed. He talked about talking with a Netflix exec, saying, "Oh, these are just a few people on the internet. We have millions of subscribers." Well, if that's the case, then act like it. Act like it doesn't matter, and you probably still wouldn't have as much backlash if you would have let it go.
Yeah,
some people don't like it. Some people have things.
Yeah, this is the general rule of the internet. If something genuinely doesn't matter to you, you don't have to stop and say this doesn't matter. The only kinds of people that actually say things like you don't matter or you're not important or things like that are people who are trying to invalidate something that they know actually does hold sway and actually is somewhat important. Because if something genuinely isn't important, you don't actually have to say this is not important because it doesn't need to be said. But if something you don't like is too important and you have to take it down a peg, then the easiest way to do that is, well, you don't matter. So,
yeah. And because Islington Girl says, I watched every episode of the original She-Ra, had a bunch of dolls, and loved it. The new show was not for me. Couldn't get through one episode. That sucks. That's a waste. And hail to Agent Decibel. Appreciate you being here, one of the newer people to join. Okay. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about with the Kevin Smith, or anything else I covered?
The second thing, the Blizzard story, like I said,
what are your thoughts on the Blizzard story?
Yeah, like I said in chat, this whole evocation of harassment thing they do, that baffles and boggles my mind, because unless you define what you mean by these terms, there is no reason to get all morally outraged by the use of these terms. Because here's the thing. If harassment just means I was momentarily uncomfortable and then it passed, or somebody made a joke at my expense and it stinged a little, then we don't need to feel untoward or moralistic about it. However, if harassment means he grabbed my ass when I bent over to pick something up or something, then in such a case, we would actually have a reason to get out the pitchforks and torches. But the thing they always do is they change or they misconstrue or they broaden the definitions of a term to such a ludicrous degree that things that are categorically not that thing get swept up in the definition, and then we're expected to react to minor social faux pas and things that were banter or joking around or playfulness that went too far, as though it's something out of a Lifetime movie.
Yeah, and that's the worst part, because you can't tell if it's real or not. Like, I don't know. No one knows what happened. None of us were there.
And a lot of what the first stuff you read just sounded to me like some banter that might have gotten a little bit out of hand, like the kind of banter you have with your friends and your coworkers, especially when you're working there for 8 hours a day and you just want to blow off some steam. Some of it genuinely did sound a little skeevy, but here's the thing. Most of the entertainment industry and the gaming industry and all these other industries where this genuinely toxic shit does happen, they all have one thing in common, and it's not the maleness. It's the fact that they're all extremely high-achieving careers. And the thing about high-achieving careers is the people who most often do well in high-achieving environments are narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths. So you're looking at an industry where psychopaths, narcissists, and sociopaths do well, and you're exporting that entire dynamic, the dynamic of being sociopathic and traumatized and narcissistic and what have you. It's in actual psychology, it's referred to as cluster P. You're looking at cluster P behaviors, and you're conflating those behaviors with masculinity and male machismo. Now, granted, I am not a heavily masculine person. I will freely admit to that, and I have no shame in admitting it. But just because I am not a particularly masculine person doesn't mean I think masculinity is evil. It's just not my thing. And this is the fundamental thing. When did we go from the thing of I am masculine or I am feminine or those things just aren't my thing to those things are immoral? And as everyone knows at this point, it's become a meme. Male feminists very often see actual toxicity in themselves, and rather than believe that they personally are fucked up or they personally had a difficult childhood or they personally were traumatized as kids or what have you, they export it and say, I'm just a normal man, therefore all men and all masculinity must be this.
Yeah.
And such is not the case. Your toxicity is your issue. Please do not export it onto everyone who is remotely like you in this demographic region, please.
Yeah, and
Because
that's
most of the time when male feminists talk about masculinity, they talk about like conclusions that no one has ever drawn ever. Like masculinity means always being stronger than everyone and always bullying people weaker than you. And it's like, I don't know what fucked up schools and things you went to, but that was never my definition of masculinity. Usually,
yeah,
people who were dickheads and bullies were shunned and ostracized because everyone knew they were dickheads.
yeah,
Dickheadishness is not synonymous with masculinity.
yeah. And that's really the another thing that pisses me off. And I said it, when I was talking about it. In a lot of these industries, they do a bunch of crazy shit. They do a bunch of bullshit. They legitimately, you have the Harvey Weinstein situation, which Cameron Pasha says nothing compared to how bad it actually is. He's just kind of a mid-level guy compared to
Yeah.
how bad it gets. And they do all the crazy things, and yet they go ahead and not only do they preach to us, but they also create the standard, the Me Too era. They create these things, they push these things, and it affects everyone else. They make bad decisions, and now that becomes the narrative that the normal workplace has to deal with.
Well, but here's the interesting thing about that. In the cases of narcissism, psychopathy, and sociopathy, we all are sort of trained by portrayals in Hollywood and documentaries about serial killers and everything to think a narcissist and a sociopath and a psychopath have no sense of morality. And that's wrong. They don't have a sense of empathy, as in their neurons, their mirror neurons, don't fire in the way they're supposed to allow for the sense of empathy. But every other part of their brain functions perfectly normally. So what happens to a human brain if you have everything else functioning perfectly, but you just remove the part of the brain that is supposed to foment a sense of empathy? They still have the desire to be good people and moral people. They just don't have the instrumentation to figure out how to do that intuitively. So what they do instead is they come up with these highly strict, highly academic versions of morality and adhere to them. That's why usually when you do see a serial killer or something get caught, they get caught with these massive, lengthy philosophical manifestos because essentially, and I'm not trying to say that therefore psychopathy is a victimhood or anything, but psychopathy and narcissism and sociopathy are forms of brain damage, usually caused by early childhood trauma, either in the womb or in the developmental stages. A person with psychopathy and sociopathy and so on literally has brain damage in the part of their brain that causes them to have empathy. So instead of that, it's like a disability. They don't have the part of their brain that allows them to intuitively understand morality, so they have to intellectualize it because there's still the morality-shaped hole in their head they have to fill with something. So it's easy to sell. Yeah, it's easy to sell these extremely academic forms of morality to narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths because they need something like that to believe in so that they can convince themselves that they're still a good and normal person. Because we all, whether we're really fucked up in the head or not, want to believe that we are the gold standard for what it is to be human. We want to all believe that we're the good people, we're the normal people, we're the so on. But if a really fucked up person still needs to believe they're normal, what you get is all these terrible things that I do personally, that's just what everyone does. I'm just more honest about it.
Projecting.
Therefore, subscribe to this really strict form of morality to cleanse your soul of sin, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot of projection. To get the chat's input, because you guys are still going pretty active in the chat. Isn't the girl says a little bit referring to what we were talking about a little earlier? To me, grabbing someone's butt is assault that's beyond harassment. One off joke is fine, but continuously making someone uncomfortable is harassment. Yeah, I agree. If you're like every day saying the same kind of sexual joke to the person, it
Well,
is harassment.
the other thing is nerds are always going to be socially awkward, and so in nerdy hobbies, you might just have to say something when someone tells a joke that makes you uncomfortable. And
Yeah,
90% of the time, if you tell a person that what they said made you uncomfortable, they'll either stop or ask why, and then you can explain, and then they'll stop, or
yeah,
they'll find some other means of connecting with you. It's really not that hard. And that's the other
true.
thing about a lot of this, and I'm gonna get called victim blaming for it, but sometimes you can just say, "Hey, sorry, but that made me feel uncomfortable. Can you soften it up a little bit?" And 9 times out of 10, most people are gonna go, "Oh shit, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that was making you uncomfortable. Sorry about
Yeah.
that."
And I mean, we don't want to assume this isn't the 10th time because, again, the entertainment industry has a tendency to be the 10th time, unfortunately. In the gaming industry, like I talked about, it wasn't sexual, but
Yeah,
they really pushed their brand.
because high achieving
Yeah, like you said.
industries attract sociopaths. So yeah, or people
Uh,
with cluster P personality disorders anyway.
yeah. And to add to that point, Isn't Girl absolutely agrees. If you're not comfortable, say so because they may not know. And I don't want to skip over something else she said earlier. She said, stupid because it eliminates all possibility for a good natured mistake. People make mistakes, and it could just be someone reading the room wrong, and then they're a rapist. Yeah, that's the same thing. People make
Yeah,
mistakes. People may not know they're
it's a
doing this.
social it's a social faux pas, and then it's turned into, oh, he did it on purpose because he truly wanted to make me feel uncomfortable. Well, have you ever heard of the notion of nerds being socially awkward and being not the best people at reading rooms? You're
Yeah,
working in a video game in the video game industry. Are you surprised that 90% of the people you're going to be working with are nerds who can't read a room properly?
yeah. And she says no one does that now anymore, though. Yeah, a lot of people are. I don't know what it is that they want to go to social media for attention. But you know what? I don't also. Again, there's some of the stuff in this article about Activision Blizzard that just seems damning, and I have a thing with especially gaming companies. The heads of those companies tend to be dickish, and I don't want to leave out what Agent Decibel said. It says he's talking about the rules of labeling. Define a label as accurately as possible. Show the actions of the individual that matches the definition. Show this action is objectively immoral. Without this, the label is simply an attempt at intimidation. And hey, Killy
Yeah,
Child, what's going on? Appreciate you being here. Go ahead.
yeah. In the philosophy industry, there's a rule by which you are always, whenever you engage in a new argument with somebody, you're always supposed to A, look for common premises with the person you're arguing with so that you can argue on the same frame, and B, in a case where any term might be ambiguous or not well defined, it is your responsibility to define your terms, especially if you're using them in a particular context. Because otherwise, what we're arguing with what you're arguing is semiotics and not the actual substance of the point.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me see something real quick. All right. Was there anything else that you wanted to comment on? Any other comments that you had?
Um, other than just the fact that I see a lot of people bad mouthing Grace Randolph, and yes, I agree she is fairly normy when it comes to like social politics and things. So our biggest problem is because everyone in the mainstream media invalidates us
Mm-hmm.
and doesn't represent us well, our arguments never make it to people like Grace Randolph. So she's
Yeah.
just going off of what she hears from the media. But even given that, she is a genuine nerd and has been a genuine nerd for many years. She even had a comic published by DC at one point, which does kind of go so far as to explain why she's so gung ho for DC all the time. Not
Huh.
judging her for that, but and
Yeah.
also she does do the work and she does focus on things like numbers and behind the scenes information and stuff more than 90% of the other entertainment journalists out there. She is by far and away, when I need behind the scenes information on stuff that's going on in Hollywood, apologies to people like Doomcock and so on, but I usually go to Grace first because number one, she has contacts in the industry that are willing to talk to her on the regular, and number two, she's always going to try to focus things on what does this mean for the industry and the numbers, if anything else.
All right. I agree. I actually like I said, I'm a little partial to Grace Randolph. She's one of I've been watching her off and on. I'm not like a diehard Grace Randolph person, but I think
I'm willing to criticize her when she gets it wrong, but she's still a good source for things.
Yeah. So with me is like I don't want to echo chamber myself. So always when I look for something mainstream, she's kind of like one of the few people in the I consider mainstream. Like I said, she almost has 1 million subs that I'll go to for stuff. So I'm like, okay, what do the mainstream people think about? That's why I was interested that she, even she noticed the lack of male leads.
She's getting more and more red pilled, I think, as time goes on. Like, even if she likes something, she'll admit, I liked it, but I can understand why there's a lot of issues around it. The only thing that gets my goat with her, and again, this is because she has never interacted with people like Doomcock or Gary or you or me or our circle of friends and acquaintances. She does buy into the toxic fandom argument, and I think if someone just laid out to her why toxic fandom makes no fucking sense and is arbitrary and stupid and moralistic, she'd probably stop using it. But she's never been exposed to that argument. I think that if she watched any one of our channels when we tried to explain why toxic fandom A doesn't exist and B is counterproductive to the conversation, she probably would go, actually, yeah, I haven't thought about it like that, but I'm going to stop using it now. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. You never know. But I think that she does seem open-minded enough, and again, she was able to catch this. Got to say hi to my man Wes Moody. I was in his chat earlier. Hail, Wes Moody. And Agent Decibel review of the rules are not agreed upon and respected. There's no reason to engage. As far as you were talking about how they don't define things. And
yeah. You're supposed to begin on shared premises whenever possible and define your terms whenever possible. This is basic logic 101 things that even most philosophy professors don't bother with anymore, and that's why it freaking annoys me. Because they would prefer dealing with all this German, French, post-philosophy instead of like Socrates and Aristotle and the kinds of philosophy that actually respect the parameters of logic and argumentation instead of just postulating shit at random.
And Islington Girl says, I don't mind her. She stands by her opinions. My only issue is her whack-ass eye makeup. Girl. Islington Girl said that. And she watched her Dune trailer review for that very reason. Was curious to see if the mainstream is into it. I see. She did not see the Dune trailer at all. I haven't seen it. Dune. And that's Dune, I mean. I don't know what I said. But yeah, I actually am, even though I've never read or Dune or watched the original from the 80s, I am semi-interested in this Dune movie because I'm interested in the actual well-told story.
Yeah, I kind of love the Dune franchise, and I especially love the David Lynch movie. So I'm kind of you can miss me with the new one because it's so dingy and gray and miserable. And the thing about the Dune franchise is it's fucking weird, and I love how fucking weird it is. So it seems like Denis Villeneuve went and removed all the weird shit, and I'm just like, but if you remove all the weird shit, why am I watching it? I go to Dune for the. It's the same thing with comics, and why I'm annoyed with the MCU for not going more cosmic and weird lately. It's like, please, I come to these IPs for the weird. Give me the weird, please.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can make an argument they're still weird. It's just not good as far as the MCU. Some of the
No,
decisions they made.
but believe me, as somebody who specializes in the weird corner of comics, there's so much they could get into. Like they could go straight up Lovecraft if they want to, but they just there wasn't any larger demonic or extra dimensional threat in WandaVision. They didn't bother to make the Timekeepers actual entities. That it's just they keep snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. They get almost there and then they fall flat on their face.
Yeah.
And it's just I can't. If your universe is built on world building, why don't you actually build a world, please, and actually make stuff within it matter? Like we could have had Celestials way back in 2014 because they started bringing them in with Guardians 1 and Guardians 2. Hell, Ego was a full-on Celestial in Guardians 2 and he was the main villain, and yet somehow nowhere in Endgame was there any hint at the Celestial battle against Thanos in the comics, which is by the way my favorite scene in the Infinity Gauntlet comic, when the cosmic abstracts and Celestials try to beat the shit out of Thanos and he just throws the literal fabric of reality at them.
I had never.
And then the Living Tribunal has to come in and be like, nope.
I've honestly not read it, so you're more got more Nerd cred on that. Isn't the girl
like I said, the weird side of things is always my specialty because I like things weird. So
yeah. Islington Girl recommends watching the trailer. She says it's good for everyone, and she loves doing and hopes weird shit will make it in. So we'll see. It is a trailer. You never know. And hell, Nelson the Gentleman.
I hope so as well. Islington Girl.
Yeah.
Hey, Nelson.
Nelson the Gentleman saying hey to both me and the Authenticator. I guess I'll give the game one more try to see if the sound goes. Even though I'm starting to get fade a little bit. If you guys still can't hear the sound, then I'm probably just gonna call it a show and then try it again a different day. So let's start the game back up. Go ahead. Did you have any other anything else you want to come on? Do you have a vice? Says Nelson and Gentleman. Yeah, I have unfortunately. Do you have any vices?
I'm kind of a misanthrope. I don't particularly like most humans, but that's about it, to be honest with you.
Sure, if that's vice.
Well, regularly imagining murdering the entire population of the planet probably isn't a good thing, so I'd call it a vice.
Oh man, yeah, that's kind of super villainy. I hope this isn't an origin story. But yeah, Nelson just has beer, so that's a lot tamer. All right, let's see. Can you guys?
My whole family is lousy with alcoholics, so I avoid booze where possible.
Can you hear the sound, the music?
Yes.
Okay, do you hear it clear?
Yes. I'm not really sure what tune it's supposed to be playing, but I'm aware that there is music.
Okay, I'm not sure if that's just coming off of my headphones or what. So, chat, how well do you hear the music from Streets of Rage? Please let me know as I drop my fucking headphones. Nelson says, you like me, Authenticator, shut up.
Well, yes, Nelson, because you actually do what you're told. I always tell people to look at the backlog of the videos that I have and to check out the playlist of stuff that I do on other people's channels that I have. And you're the only one so far who's done any of those things when you went and subscribed to my channel. So you are until somebody is a better subscriber than you, you are my favorite subscriber because you actually do what I tell you to do.
Oh boy. Well, I appreciate anyone who's a lot of people have liked at least some of the stuff that I asked them as far as liking and sharing. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate you guys showing up here. I'm not gonna play as much. I'm gonna try hard though. Why not? And I'm gonna go with the classic character in Blaze. And I have the retro. Since Nelson hears it fine, Authenticator hears it fine. I got the retro music on, so we'll hear the classic music.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Okay, cool. I'll play a little bit. I'm not gonna play as much, but I promised it. It's in the damn thumbnail, so I gotta deliver what I promised. 10 years have passed since the fall of Mr. X and the Syndicate. The city has been at peace until now. A new crime empire has arisen, corrupting everything in the city. Is rumored to be by Mr. X's children, the Y twins. Oh, guys, it's going too fast. Streets of Rage. Four vigilantes, no relation, stand against the Y Syndicate on the Streets of Rage. So I guess this is supposed to take place 10 years. Now, I'm using a Sega Genesis gamepad. So when it says like Y, I'm like, I don't know what Y is. I'm using the Genesis gamepad to be more authentic to the actual Genesis game. Yeah, I got the classic music. I'm trying to. In the original game, there's a extra life there. So here we go. As you can see, if you saw me playing Streets of Rage 2 the other day, these characters are very similar, but the designs are like updated, and that's kind of the Streets of Rage 4. It's kind of the cool thing about it. And there's a little bit more you can do. Like you can do more juggling attacks. And I've seen people play who are really good at it, and they can really like pull off combos.
What system was this originally released for?
I'm playing the Steam version, and I think it's on like Xbox and PlayStation. I know that they just released an update, and I'm not sure what that update is. I played through this game, and I only got I didn't beat it. I only got like 9 levels in. And I'm starting a new level or a new save just to kind of play for streams. So that sort of stuff. That's newer to this game, where you can kind of like juggle people and do combos and stuff like that. Not that you couldn't get some combos in the old one, but those play styles just allows for a little bit more. It's kind of like more modern fighting gaming, so to speak. If you
Nelson,
what the just crash? No, it didn't. That was weird. Okay.
Dang. But Nelson, you know better than that. I'm not YouTube's answer to Buffalo Bill. I'm YouTube's answer to Dr. Lecter. He made a Buffalo Bill reference, and I felt like it needed to be corrected.
Sorry, I'm kind of playing and just, talking when I can. I picked hard, didn't I? I'm kind of wrecking these motherfuckers.
Well, so it is far, also level 1, isn't it? So
True. And then as soon as I said something, now I started actually attacking me. These beat 'em ups are fairly simple. Like I said, there's a few more options. And this one didn't a lot. Actually, I'd say quite a few more options compared to the original games. I think I have less lives as well. I think I only start with 1. She fucked me up. Well, that's a classic sound effects too. That's pretty cool. some
retro games are awesome. Have you ever played Cuphead?
I did play Cuphead and I couldn't beat it. I got to the last world or whatever.
Son of a bitch to get through, but it's an amazing game.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a really fun game. I do like, and not only do I like retro games, I want to make one. I do kind of know how, and I will make one day.
Well, if you ever need a beta tester, let me know.
All right, yeah, I would probably take you up on that. Because I definitely like. I mean, at this point, I'm starting to like retro games more. Not that there aren't modern games I like, but
retro has a little bit more heart to it, I think.
Yeah, and for fuck's sake, at least they ship. It may be delayed, but when you get it, you get the full game because there's less to screw up.
Yeah, no DLC.
No DLC, or if you do it like this, there's DLC on this, but it was free. There was additions made later. I mean, not that there isn't paid DLC, but it's just like it's not like necessary DLC to get the game fucking working. Day one patches and shit. It's like you get tired of that shit.
It's like if you could have fixed this on day one, why didn't you fix it in the months you had in the interim here?
Yes.
Or why didn't you just schedule it to come out when it would have actually been finished? We could have waited another month or two. Would have been fine.
Because they're greedy assholes. Or in the case of a lot of games, they want out by their fiscal year end, or by the year end, or by Christmas, because that's such a big game.
Yeah, because holiday rush.
Yeah, holiday thing. That's what I think happened to Cyberpunk. I think it was because they had to get it out for that Christmas deadline, and it's like, man, if they would have just waited 3 or 4 more months. Maybe 5, maybe another year for them, but I mean, they would have waited. They'd have had a much better product. And if they would have just said, you know what, we're not going to make this for PS4, even though it was delayed so long that it was supposed to originally be a PS4 game, but they probably shouldn't even made it for the lesser consoles. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. Funny thing about DLC, because that's kind of where I'm at with the MCU at this point. I feel like the MCU needs to come with like cinematic DLC.
Man, I gotta say, even from someone who didn't watch Loki, hearing that all the stakes are just whatever Kang wanted, it's just like, ugh. That's
Immortus technically, because he's the good Kang, okay. But yeah, Kang's backstory is kind of complicated, but yeah, there's always at least one good version of Kang that does good things, and it's usually referred to as Immortus.
I see.
But yeah, it especially because we know that the MCU knows what they should do, and then they just decide not to for some reason.
Yeah,
like they knew Doctor Strange should have shown up at the end of WandaVision to help Wanda through her trauma, and they didn't. They knew that Agatha's bunny was supposed to be a demon, and we never see that because reasons. We knew that they knew that the Living Tribunal should have been in Infinity War, but he wasn't, even though they were planning on making him be in that movie. And on it goes. It's like, we know what
Tony
we should have
been in Black Widow.
Yeah, we know what we should have done, but we're doing the opposite because reasons.
Yeah. And that's just unfortunate. And to me, the MCU always had issues with stakes. People would die and come back. But real quick, I got to get to Makani Draws. Hell, I can't click on your comment because I'm currently gaming. But I appreciate you being here. He says Streets of Rage. Yes, it's Streets of Rage 4. So it is on PS4. I have the Mr. X and Nightmare DLC. It's fantastic. I haven't played it. I know that, it's kind of why I'm playing it, but I haven't played that. I'm just restarting a game for the stream. And I probably will play that at some point. And Nelson the Gentleman says, ha ha ha, McKinney Draws. And the Basco scenario. Oh, geez. Got electrocuted trying to get that star. Damn it. I keep getting electrocuted trying to get the damn star. Come on.
It's shocking.
No. It is shocking. God damn it. I almost feel like this level feels different than. I'm not sure if they added to this level on the DLC or just been so long since I played it. It came out. Was it last year? The year before that? Maybe it was last year. And I see Nelson the Gentleman complimenting our main man Makani. Uh-oh. I gotta survive long enough to get this extra life. And these Orange Cassidy villains are fucking with me. Love this OG music, man. I really do. Shout out to one of the Yamaha DX chips. I couldn't tell you which one. It's not the beloved DX7. I don't believe. I think it's like a DX11 or something. Yeah. Started to get keyboard nerd. Jeez, got stabbed. Is it boss time? It is boss time. Oh, jeez. Okay. Probably shouldn't just stay up on them. I gotta move when they start doing stuff. See, this stuff is newer where I can kind of like juggle and punish and like I said, these are more like modern video game or fighting game stuff. Wall punish and stuff. Uh-oh. Shit, what are you doing? Oh. Oh, shit. How you doing? Damn it. Hold on. Options input set up. Start move. I don't remember what button RB is. So. Okay, now I do it. Because like I said, I'm using a gamepad. Not doing the start move. Damn it. This sucks. It's cool that they can damage each other. She's hitting me with some combo action. This game is really fun. Like, it is even on hard. It's still, I mean, not rocket science to play. Not that it can't get hairy. Mm-hmm. But this is a really fun game. Oh, jeez. No, I don't want to die. Too young to die. No. I didn't do that much damage. No, get out the way. Shit. I was trying to jump and I got slide kicked. No. Oh, shit. So when she charges that motherfucker up, she's hitting that bitch. No. Shit. I was stuck in that fucking corner. Oh, fuck. She keeps hitting me with that fucking thing. That's what I get for talking shit. Second to talk shit is to get out of the way.
Well, you know the old saying, talk shit, get hit.
Yeah. That's it. I don't know if she's still fucking... There we go. Yeah, I love the classic sounds.
Yeah, retro style is definitely the best style.
Cannot tell you if those options were there originally. Like I said, it's been a while since I played this game. Keep going, please. Get a few levels in, and then probably call it a night. I thank you, anyone who's joined late, anyone who's watching the playback, anyone who's watching this in the future. I'm not sure. I may clip out the gameplay just to have its own thing. But thank you for joining me. Thank you to Authenticator, Dalton, for joining. I appreciate it.
Anytime. It was fun, and we still need to find some way of figuring out what we can what you and I can stream together that will make the most entertaining content for the people.
Yeah. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how to format the channel, and I got a lot of stuff going on. Tomorrow, by the way, since I should probably plug stuff. Yeah, it's cool. This is boss music. But I should plug Primetime Kings with 24/7 Fusion Media and Fat Steven Seagal. That's going to be on 24/7 Fusion Media's channel. And then I hope I'll be on the Global Geek Gang on Tuesday as well. And of course, Culture Crime Fighters on Wednesday. So please check out all that stuff. And none of it's going to be on my channel though, because Culture Crime Fighters is on Matt's channel this week. We'll hopefully have a special guest, but we don't know. It's semi-stone, but we'll see.
Yeah. And as long as we're showing things, I have a couple things that I probably should show.
Yes, chill.
Normally every Sunday, we didn't do it this Sunday because Brainstormer didn't sleep well, but normally every Sunday I have a show called Podcast with the Storm with my buddy the Brainstormer of Pop Culture. We talk news and geek shit and the intersection of geek shit and politics and all that nonsense. So if that's your bag, then you might want to find your way over there. Every week, the day varies depending on when we're both available, but every week also, I recently started a new series with my buddy, Mr. E2099, where we talk about men's rights and men's issues of various kinds. So if that's your bag, that might also be something you're interested in, and that is called The Duality of Man, is what we call that show. Other than that, I do guest appearances on a bunch of people's channels that usually end up going in the guest appearances and crossovers playlist on my channel. And every great now and again, I also make my own videos, but that's usually the least of the categories because I regularly get sleep deprivation, and that's bad for my creative output. And if we ever do actually get Culture Casino to find a place in the schedule for me, he and I are going to do a series called Authentic Culture where we're going to do deep dives in philosophy and stuff, if he ever actually attempts to find a place in the schedule. But he hasn't yet, so who knows.
It's hard to balance everything. I can get it. I can understand that. Oops. But that's cool. So please check out all the stuff. The men's rights show sounds interesting. It's something that needs to be talked about a lot more.
Duality of Man is what we called it. And so far we've done 3 episodes, one on marriage and romance issues, one on divorce and custody issues, and one on homelessness. And next week we're going to be doing one on men and suicide, and then the following week we're going to do the issues with male circumcision and male genital mutilation. Or actually, no. Before that is the week we're going to be talking about modern day rules of fatherhood, and then the week after that is going to be the circumcision episode. So yeah, if men's issues is up your alley, then The Duality of Man with me and Mr. E2099 is definitely something you should check out.
Yeah, and it's something that I think needs to be talked about, and I think will be talked about more. Nelson the Gentleman is concerned about reptilian rights. I feel sounds wrong, but I feel like reptilians are doing pretty good nowadays. But the shape-shifting reptilian aliens from a dimension, they're people too, if they exist. Like I mean, they would be reptilians and not people, but sure. I mean, they're living things.
Well, but people can refer to any sapient life form. So as long as they're sapient, then they are technically people.
I'm not I honestly don't have the knowledge to dispute or refute that academically. But I want to think of people. I think of human beings.
Well, yeah, but it's It's a slightly broader category, and someday we might need it because we might meet aliens or something.
Or we might get AI to the point where that becomes a bigger question. Who knows?
Or
that might be closer before.
Or we might ever get off our asses and realize the spiritual entities that humanity has existed alongside for centuries have always existed, and include them in our definition of people as well. So there's that.
I think a lot of people are. Well, I think spirituality is probably a thing that's. I don't know if it's on a decline or incline, but I feel like there's a lot of people who are aware of this. There is a spirit.
I think it's changing. I don't necessarily think it's on the decline or the uptick. I think it's just what the kinds of spirituality people are engaging in are changing. And honestly, I think mostly they're changing for the better, if I had to guess. Because you see a lot of movement away from organized religion and more towards like personal spirituality, which I think is probably healthy. Especially long term.
I do think organized religion, even as somebody who does believe in the Bible, I'm not going to any church anytime soon. I much rather read and try to understand it for myself than let some asshole.
Yeah, which is perfectly admirable. And if more people were like that, I wouldn't have quite as much of a problem with organized religion as I do. Although,
and I'm not the type of person to tell somebody like I do not believe in telling somebody what they should morally do, because none of us are perfect, and it's not. If you believe anything, you should believe that God is going to judge you and not some other asshole.
Yeah, it's still until the final end. It's still an open question as to who is right and about what, and this, that, and that, and the other. So, especially on the grounds of morality, I'm just like, and nope. Unless I can logically say something, then I'm not going to say anything.
I mean, I think there's some basic morality that. Jeez, I was going to say property, but
that kind of stuff is more in the realm of like ethics necessarily than morality. It's like, and this is why I love philosophy, because you can get to the same conclusions, morally speaking, without any of the woo, just by like logically looking at the situation most of the time. There are certain exceptions, and there are allowances made for those certain exceptions, but for the most part, morality should be based as much as possible on logic than on indignation. And I think 90% of the evil done in the world is done because somebody thinks that their morality is so superior to everyone else's.
Yes.
They're doing bad things for the greater good.
Yeah, the greater good. High fives. Oh, jeez, I'm getting fucked up. Look at the police brutality. Damn it. Defund these motherfuckers. Skip what I said. Joking, playing the game. I almost got the baton, motherfucker. Oh, I just noticed the cop's name is Murphy, which I'm assuming is a RoboCop reference because of that look. Thank goodness I got an extra life. Nelson Gentleman says, "Preach it, dude." I couldn't agree more. And he's so supposed to be muscled up Jim Gordon, commissioner. I don't know. Oh, I'm about to get whacked though. He's like, whoa, gotta watch out for these attacks. Damn it. Jesus. Shit, I'm trying to get to help. Damn it. I guess in a world without Batman, Commissioner Gordon took to taking steroids to figure out the problem.
Well, he probably just captured a little bit of Bane's toxin and started using it.
Maybe. He's like super diesel. He just keeps turkeys under his desk too. That's weird. There's a lot of just turkeys and cakes for no reason in the Streets of Rage. Oh shit!
Why turkeys? Then again, there are a lot of weird stuff like that in games. Like, I think in Crash Bandicoot is one where you blow apart crates full of chickens.
Yeah,
and
we didn't really.
Go ahead.
Oh shit! No, we didn't ask these questions back then. We just accepted it. We were just like, oh.
But by the way, speaking of weird game premises, if you ever get a chance to play a game called Hogs of War, highly recommend it. It's a game where you play as anthropomorphic pigs who work for the Nazis.
Whoa! I would not have even expected that to be a thing.
And it's a comedy game too, which is hilarious.
Well, I would hope so, because I also. Oh shit!
Yeah. Hogs of War is amazing.
Shit. Damn it! Is that it? I got one more life. Motherfucker! Like he does that. All right. I went Tiger Woods' wife and fucked him up with a golf club. There you go. Let me try one more level, and depending on how it goes with this level, I'm probably just gonna call it quits either way.
Okay.
It's been 2.5 hours, close to, and honestly, I don't really care about the story. I'm sorry. If there's if you guys care about the story, there are streamers that I'm sure are going through the whole story. I'm Streets of Rage, man. This is not Metal Gear Solid. This is not Final Fantasy. This is not something well involved. It's not even a Halo or something. It's not like some really well thought out story. It's just an excuse to beat up random characters.
Like, here is your motivation to do the thing you're doing. Now go do it.
Yeah. Shout out to the Iron Fist looking dude. There's a lot of little references in this game. Other media. Like I said, the one cop was called Murphy, which I think is.
Oh my God! Dresden Files reference. God damn it. Oh, sorry. I'm a really big fan of a series called The Dresden Files, and
okay.
In that the main female love interest is a cop named Murphy, and she is all the levels of badass. So it's and also she's in like almost every book. So every time the phrase "a cop named Murphy" comes up, I will always and forever think of Karen Murphy from the Dresden Files. She's awesome.
Well, I think, given the design, it was very similar to RoboCop. I think they were going for Alex Murphy,
probably
of the cops. But yeah, a lot of reference. And then, like I said, the one character looked similar to Iron Fist. Or at least gave that character model that's doing the kicks gives you the color scheme is similar. So it's the commissioner who looks kind of like Gordon. There's all sorts of little cool things like that. And shit, I have this penguin looking.
Speaking of franchises that should be shelved, if anyone is getting sick of wokeness in their media and their entertainment and stuff, read the Dresden Files. It is one of the most amazing fantasy series ever written, and it actually has legitimate diversity, but not a single shred of wokeness. And the author Jim Butcher has basically confirmed that he is never going to get into politics in terms of the series, because somebody asked him what the main character Harry Dresden would do in the Hillary versus Trump election, and his response was, Harry doesn't care and doesn't remember who the president is half the time. His main concern is if you're human and you need help from the supernatural. If you're
Yeah.
if you're inhuman, if you're human and you're in danger from the supernatural, you get help. End of story.
I
And
see.
and that was the moment where I was just like, this person deserves to be shilled all the time and forever.
Yeah.
That that be,
I
that
agree
being
with
said,
that.
there is a terrible Dresden Files TV series that Sci-Fi tried to do back in 2003. Do not watch it. It is shies.
Okay, I'm glad because that's probably how I heard of the Dresden Files. So
Yeah,
thank you for that heads up.
yeah.
And I agree. Anyone who's apolitical deserves to be shielded and celebrated.
Well, that and the fact that Jim Butcher, by all accounts, is a geek. Like, he originally was going to publish the Dresden Files as a comic series, but it got so expansive that he decided to write it as a pulp detective story, but with magic in it instead. And when he was initially designing characters, he used D&D character sheets to design characters for the
That's
series.
pretty cool.
Yeah. Jim Butcher is officially one of my favorite authors. Even taking the quality of the work out of it, he just seems like the kind of guy that I could get along with swimmingly.
I think that's it. Is this it? No, I still got a little bit of life. And yeah, I'm fighting guys with their hands in their pockets, and they killed me. And so now Nelson the Gentleman wants to fight someone while keeping his hands in his pockets. I would not suggest it. But I'm going to call that quits. This has been pretty fun, and I appreciate you talking to me while I stream. It's kind of a new dynamic. Any final thoughts before we sign out?
No, I think we covered everything in the process of the shilling and the talking. So, just
all right.
Cheers, guys.
All right, I will add you to the subject line or whatever I'm trying to say. What is it? The title. Jesus Christ, yeah. I'm so tired. And just so people know that you're in the episode, and I appreciate it. It's just offered a little bit something different. So thank you for anyone who joined, either in the future or the playback, because we do get quite a people who watch the playback of these streams. So just thank you. Please sub to the Authenticator. He is incredibly undersubbed. Even though he talks about how he doesn't make as much content on his channel, he does have a playlist for all the streams that he does with other people, which I imagine this will probably be on it as well. So yeah, please check him out.
There. So yeah.
So for the Authenticator,
and I'll definitely be glad to see you over there. So please do.
Yeah. So for Nelson the Gentleman,
give Nelson some competition for best subscriber.
Yes. You want to beat Nelson the Gentleman, even though he has that kick-ass avatar. You want to beat him as best sub. So please compete with him. Competition amongst the subscribers. So for Nelson the Gentleman, the Basco scenario, Makini Draws, the Islington Girl, Agent Decibel, Wes Moody, Keely Chai, who came late. So other people were here, and I gotta get Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, who had a lot of great points. The Nerdporio Lifeform, who actually said the most damning thing I've heard all about He-Man. The most damning thing I've heard, it looks boring. That's the worst thing you could ask for. Bone, who else I want to get to the top? Oh, the Wake Down. How can we forget the Wake Down? And Authenticator himself, who was in the chat before coming on the stream. Trinoculus P, Arfar, Noble Iro, who I know is like probably sleep because it's like 3 a.m. Tiki of Doom, Brightest Day, like 3 a.m. where he is. I know Who Knew the Salt Must Flow, who is probably sleep as well because it's late where he is as well. But I appreciate them for showing up earlier in the stream. Hopefully they check out the playback, and hopefully you enjoyed the playback if you're one of the people watching it. And Nelson the Gentleman goes, Highlander says there can only be one, and he wants to take the time to say boobs. So boobs, titties, breasts, whatever word you prefer. So for all those people, and of course, the Authenticator and Streets of Rage and Kevin Smith crying and everyone else who was involved with this stream. If you like, thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do so. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for the time. Good night and God bless. Peace, everyone.
Cheers, guys.